All right. So if you have a block with you today, you can use that as well. So as mentioned, our theme is called Travel in the Transverse Plane, where we're going to think about rotation around the rib cage. When we think about upper body rotation and also how to safely rotate through the lower body. When we move in this plane of motion, we use it in everyday life, but this is a great way to help increase our mobility, particularly through the thoracic spine, and to move well off the mat. So we'll have some fun traveling in the transverse plane. So let's begin. We're going to come onto our back. If you've got a block, you can use one today. Or if you have, a book or something, if you'd like to use that's a little bit thicker, you can use that as well. Let's come into our back here. And we'll set up on our back for bridge. You can take your block on the thinnest setting, bring it in between your legs. And what we'll do here is start to activate our glutes here in our reset. Just getting my yoga setting. There we go. All right, so we got our feet under our knees or just slightly ahead. Press through the feet, squeeze the block and lift to bridge. You have your hands by your sides. Your scapula is on the floor, as well as the back of your head. Really squeezing the block will engage not only our adductors, but also our glutes as well. And then you can lower about halfway and then come back up. So your bridge doesn't have to be high. Low bridge is great because our focus is really just getting the glutes going. And that's going to help us give us really strong support as we travel in the transverse plane today. And then we lower down. And this block that we've got, it gives us a source of feedback. It helps us to really know that we're engaging those muscles. So that's kind of the power of props, the power of the block. Lower halfway once more. Press through the feet again and hold your bridge. This time, take your left hand over your left shoulder and then take your right hand and draw the left fingers back. So we're going to open up the wrists here too. So transverse plane, when we move not only in standing, but we'll also see how we can move in that plane when we're on our hands in planks, down dogs, and dolphin. So this will help open up our wrists and gives them a nice break as well, especially if you've been at your computer a lot, typing or holding your phone. Good, let's lower it down. Remove the block. We'll come back to it in a little bit. Let's come into abdominals, round one. Take your hands behind your head and then bring your elbows, point them toward the ceiling. Draw the lower back toward the floor. Breathe in and exhale, lift. So just pause here for a second and really kind of focus and visualize the lower abdominals. Lower back drawn toward the floor. Deep core drawn in towards the spine and lower down. Inhale, exhale, lift. Feeling the scapula lift up off the floor. Inhale and exhale, lift. So we're just getting our core, abdominals, obliques, everything warmed up and integrated before we start to do any kind of rotation or movement in that transverse plane. Lower down. Inhale and exhale, lift. This time, trying a small twist towards your left. Keeping the elbows in. Come back to center. Now try the right hand side. Back to center and lower down. Let's go again. Inhale and exhale, lift. As we twist, be mindful of the scapula, the shoulder blades. We want to keep them lifted up off the floor. Center and down. Inhale and exhale, lift. So going for that small range of motion to begin as we're mobilizing and integrating our core. Back to center and down. One more time. Inhale and exhale, lift. Twist, center, twist, center, and lower. Very good. All right, let's take a block. Bring it to the left side, stack it tall, and then and line it with your left hip. Take your right knee and you can stack the block on top. This is a way to move in that transverse plane with the lower limbs, with a twist. Bring your arms out to the side. And take a nice inhale here. Breathe in fully. Exhale, let it go. Feel your shoulder blades anchor to the floor. And the block can give you a nice sense of support. But if you don't have a block, no worries. What we can do is take the feet wide here and draw the knees to the left. So this is an option if you don't have a block, as we do with our other supine twist. Pressing in through the inner side of the right foot here, squeezing the right glute. So either twist is great. See what feels right for you today. Let's find the other side. So if you're going to use your block, take it with you. Line it up with your right hip this time. And then the left knee will sit on top of the block. And what's great about the block is it's giving that space, especially for the lower back, where a lot of those tissues can get a little bit tighter. Gives them a chance to release here. Take a full breath in and full breath out. And especially as we're in this reset period of our flow, having this block and additional support can be very helpful. Good. Let's come back to center. And we'll find abdominals once again. Take your hands behind your head. Lift the elbows, pointing them towards the ceiling. And bring your knees this time over your hips. Point your knees directly up towards the ceiling. Draw your lower back towards the floor. Inhale and exhale, lift. Now let's add a little twist. So now we've added a little bit more here because we got the legs up. One to each side, center and down. This time, inhale and exhale, lift. Extend your right leg, twist to the left. Back to center, twist to the right. Back to center, draw the foot in, and then lower down. Inhale and exhale, lift. Extend the left leg this time, twist to the right. Back to center, twist to the left. Back to center. Draw the foot in and down. Inhale and exhale, lift. Extend the right leg. Twist to the left. Return to center. Twist to the right. Bring it into center. Draw the leg in and lower. Option to keep your toes on the floor too. Inhale and exhale, lift. Extending our left leg this time. Twist right, center, twist left. Bring it back to center. Bring the foot in and lower. Very good. This time, keep your hands by your sides. And we're just going to practice a little hip swivel here. So gently drawing your knees to the left and then knees to the right. So this is just a small way here to see some movement in transverse with lower limbs. So it's a small hip swivel. Keep the lower core, lower deep core drawn in. One more to the front. One more to the back. Good. Set your feet down. And now we're going to come into our quadruped. So take your hands behind your thighs, roll up gently, and come into all fours. So we've got our hands under our shoulders. Let's lengthen our spine. Draw in the deep core. Press through the hands and pin the scapula onto the tops of your rib cage. Now take your left hand by the side of your head. Elbow points out to the side. Then you're going to twist slightly. Small rotation. And then back to center. Press your hand through the floor with your right hand through the floor and engage your core to keep the pelvis still. These are our thoracic rotations. Great to do to mobilize the thoracic spine. Bring your hand back to the floor and we'll switch sides. This time, right hand by the side of your head, elbow out to the side, and small rotation. This is a great one to do, even just daily movement practice to help awaken all those muscles and tissues. Good. Last one, bring your hand to the floor and let's sit back into a child's pose. You bring the knees towards the edges of your mat and sink your hips back. Come onto the fingertips, lengthening the arms and also lengthening out the lats, the long fan shaped muscle of your back. And we're going to keep the head lifted just a little bit here to maintain that neutral alignment through the spine. And it also helps us to prevent any sinking into the shoulder joints, into the shoulder capsules. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Come onto your forearms and place your hands onto the floor or interlace your fingers. Tuck your toes under. Draw in your deep core, and then we lift a dolphin. The hips go vertical, pressing through the forearms. Got our elbows under our shoulders, bending the knees. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. This will feel very nice as we strengthen our upper body, but also help open up the lower back and all of those fascia and connective tissues. Good. Draw the knees toward the floor. Come into our quadruped. Come into downward facing dog as we walk forwards. And we'll begin Sun Salutation One. So bring the arms forwards and up. Bring the hands together. Then hands to floor. Step your right foot back, lower knees and the toes. Squeeze your right glute. Take your hands onto the heads of your shoulder joints here, and we're going to roll out the shoulders. This is also going to help awaken those tissues around our scapula and even a little bit into the thoracic spine. Good. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back, finding your plank position. Pin the scapula here onto the tops of the ribs. Lower the knees. Lower slowly towards the floor. Cobra. Head of the humerus lifted. Pull back through the hands. Inhale. Then press through the palms, rising to plank, and then stepping your feet in a little bit for down dog. Bend the knees, hips vertical. This time, step your right foot forward, lower the left knee, and the toes. Squeeze the left glute. Shoulder rolls. Feeling that nice awakening, loosening up. Feels very good. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back into your plank again. Lower the knees and then lower towards the floor. Pull back through the hands. Squeeze the glutes. Press through the palms again. Finding downward facing dog. Good. Walk your feet in. Finding forward fold and rise to Tadasana. Bring your hands together. Forward fold. Step back with your left foot again this time. Something new. Keep your left glute squeezed. Pull back through your right heel, but keep the foot still. Bring the arms forwards and up to shoulder height. Take your right hand, open up to the side, small twist. Bring it back to center. Sometimes this is called the sprinkler because it looks like a sprinkler, watering the lawn. What we want to do is keep our hips square, open up small, range of motion, hold. Good, bring your hands to the floor, step back to plank. Lower the knees and lower towards the floor. Pull back through the hands, but keep the hands right where they are. Press through your hands to plank, finding downward facing dog. Bend the knees, draw the deep core in. Step your left foot or your right foot forward left foot forward this time. There we go. Had to remember my left from my right. There we go. And then lift the arms. Sprinkler once again. So you might feel one side a little bit more easier to open up than the other. That's it. One more. Good. This time, bring your hands to the floor. Step in, finding forward fold. Hips are back. Core drawn in. We rise. One more cycle. Bring your hands together. Find forward fold. Spine is long. Reach your hands toward the floor. Step. Right foot back. Lower knees, but not the toes this time. Bring the arms over and up. Good. Just feeling that length we've created by warming up the T-spine. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back. Finding plank. Lower the knees. Keep the core engaged, the triceps engaged as we lower slow. Pull back through the hands. Press through palms. And then downward facing dog. Good. Step your right foot forward this time. Lower knees, but not toes. Squeeze the left glute. Bring the arms forwards and up, being mindful of our thorax. That's our rib cage. Bring your hands to the floor. Step in, forward fold. Rise up. Once more. Hands together, hands to floor. Then step, left foot back, lower knees, but not toes. This time, raising your left arm high and take your right hand to your left glute, finding that nice release. And then you can reach over to the side, little side bend, if you'd like. And then we come back to upright, bring hands to floor, step to plank, lower knees, but not to, or lower the knees and lower slowly toward the floor. Pull back through your hands. Press through palms, downward facing dog. Good. That's it. Step this time, your right foot forwards, or left foot forwards. There we go. Again, confusing my left from my right. There we go. Lift your right arm high. Bring your right hand to your left hand to your right glute. There we go. Nice and long, and then add a side bend. Doesn't have to be big. It's just to help open up this front fascial line. Good. Bring your hands in, step in, forward fold, and rise. Good. Come back to your forward fold. Bring your hands to the floor, stepping back into our low lunge. Bring your hands together, making a fist like this. And we're going to do some small twists again. Really opening up through our thoracic spine. So we're really nice and warm as we start to rotate a little bit more. Now after this last one here, take your left hand and then the right hand laces over top. So if you know eagle pose, this is just a way to help open up around the thoracic spine. Good. Unlace your arms. Come into 90-90 twist. So you're going to have your right hand onto the floor and then open up. So this is that first example we were talking about of transverse plane. Good. Now this time, if you'd like, lift your right knee up off the floor. Make sure to squeeze the right glute. So we warmed up the glutes really intentionally here to help stabilize our lower back as we start to rotate. Good. That's it. And now we're going to open up to the right side of our mat for goddess. Goddess pose. And take a few pulses here to start, just to continue to warm up the lower limbs. Press through the feet, keep the spine long. Good. So this would be like a frontal plane, also sagittal, because we're facing the front plane of motion here, but also we're extending our hips. Last one, hold your squat at the bottom. Take your left arm, reach it up and over for a side bend. Right hand on right hip. Then take your left hand to left hip, reach right arm up and over. Good. Coming to side lunges, you can take your hands to the floor as you bring your hips back. Go to the left foot first, right foot second. Side to side, option with a block. Have your hands on the block, gives you some space as we move side to side. Or alternatively, just bring your hands right here onto your thighs or to your hips, maybe to help guide your hips back and the core is drawn in. Last one, adjust your feet so your toes point towards the edge of your mat. Hands are on the floor to begin. Keep the right hand down, a little bit more centered over heart center. And then just open the left arm to the side. Replace left hand, open the right arm. So this is straddle with a little rotation. So we get frontal and transverse, both at the same time. Let's rise up slowly, safely into our goddess pose. And we'll get inspired by a little Tai Chi today. Take your hands like you're holding a ball. And then just come across and back. So we're getting some rotation from around the waist and some additional frontal plane as well. But keep your eyes focused on your hands and just breathe in and out. One more to the top, one more to the back. Come to the front of your mat, step in gently. Find Tadasana, arms forward and up. Forward fold. Repeat on the other side. Step your left foot back. Adding in our rotation. So we've got left glute squeezed, small twist toward the left thigh. That's it. Keep the elbows wide, chest tall and proud. That's it, good. One more here. Now we'll add our eagle arms. So this time, right arm is under, left arm over top. It's a great way to feel that openness through the scapula. Good. Let's come to 90-90 twist. So we've got left hand onto the floor, left hand reaches overhead, or right arm reaches overhead. When you're ready, lift your left knee, squeeze your left glute. If 90-90 feels more comfortable today on this side, more than welcome. All right, let's find our goddess pose. So slowly come to standing, windmill open to the side of your mat. Let's start with a few pulse squats here. Breathe in, breathe out. That's it. Good. One more, and hold here in your goddess pose. This time, lift your right arm first, side bend. And just feel some space that we're creating for the ribs here. Other side, we lift vertical, then over. That's the path we kind of want our arm to take. Good, let's find our side lunges, heading to the right foot first. Walk the hands to the left foot. Keep the spine nice and long here too. Again, if it feels more comfortable to be more upright, you can do that too. And feel your hips really draw back in space here, getting them into good flexion. Couple more each side. 2 and 1. Bring your hands to the floor, finding our straddle pose. So make sure your toes point forwards towards the edge of your mat. And then keep your left hand down, open the right arm first. So it's okay if you're right here. This totally counts. Each side is going to be a little bit different, and that's okay. We're understanding how each side of our body feels. Good. Slowly come to standing. Rise up. Take your hands. Create that ball of energy and come side to side. Tai Chi has lots of great benefits here for our nervous system, for our cardiovascular health. A good way to unwind and de-stress. And there's so much history with Tai Chi as well. It's really fascinating. Staying low into the legs and feeling that small rotation around the waist. We want to keep the hands soft. Last one. Let's head to the top of the mat. Bring your arms forwards and up. Bring your hands together. Hands to floor. Step back to plank. Sun Salutation A. Lower the knees. Lower towards the floor for cobra. Core braced. Pull back through your hands, opening the chest. Press through the palms, finding plank, coming to downward facing dog. Walk your feet in. Find forward fold, then Tadasana. Bring your hands together. Hips go back. Hands to floor. Step back to plank. Really engage the core strong. Lower slowly toward the floor. Pull back through the hands again. Draw the deep core in. Press through plank. Rise to down dog. And then walk your feet in again. So you'll start to feel some heat happening here with sun salutations. Hips go back, hands to floor. You can hop or step back to plank, your choice. Lower the knees. But regardless of the option, always pause before you lower. You're gonna let the core be prepared to slowly lower you toward the floor. Let's step in 2 more times with a long reach overhead. Press the palms together. Hands to floor, hopper step. You can lower with the knees down or try one on the toes. Let the body move together. So as we rise to plank, let's try that. Everything moves in unison at the same time. And then we step in. Bring the arms up. Bring hands together. One more time. Lower slow. Pull back. Press through palms. Coming into downward facing dog. Step the feet in and we rise and begin our second sequence. Bring the arms up. Good. This time we're going to step back into high lunge. Step your right foot back and we're going to stay nice and tall here. Squeezing right glute. Bring the arms forwards and up. Then we're going to windmill open to the side. Find warrior two. So if you need to adjust your foot to allow for a more comfortable position for your hip, you can do so here. Squeeze the glutes strong, press through the feet. First, bring your arms to the sides, level with your shoulders. And then flip the palms and raise the hands high. You can think of this as a joyful warrior. Our chest is tall, just be mindful of the ribs, but feel that wonderful release as we open up the arms. Kind of thinking of our theme from last week as well. Length through the limbs. Good. Breathe out, reach the left arm back, up and back, reverse the warrior. Then take left arm to left thigh, reach up overhead. Then sweep back. Be mindful again of your ribs. Feel the length and space that we create through the ribs as we reach the arm. So if it helps to visualize the rib cage, create that mind-body connection. Once more to the front. Good. Now let's bring our hands to the floor, windmill to the top here, and then take your left foot out a little bit wider and draw the right knee toward the floor. Lizard. Wonderful opener for the hips. Breathe in fully here. Exhale, let it go. Breathe in again and exhale. If you'd like to integrate a little bit more into your lizard pose, you can even try just lifting your right foot up to help a little bit more into the quads. Or if lizard is a regular part of your practice and you feel comfortable, you can reach your left hand to your right foot. You get a wonderful quad release, psoas release. And another way to move into the transverse plane. Bringing it back to the theme. Good. Gently release the foot if you're holding it. Bring your left hand under your shoulder as well as your right. And let's step back into high plank. So we're strong here in our plank. And then little hip dips to the side. So we're still keeping the pelvis steady. Little hip dips. Option on the knees, right here. Or even trying it on your forearms. You can try this. Sometimes you'll often see forearm plank, hip dips. So another way to find that transverse plane. Last one. Let's bring the right knee under the hip, right hand under the shoulder. Open up, facing away towards the left side of the mat. Lift the left leg and bring the toes toward the edge of the mat, left side, then back towards the right side. Drawing a little semicircle. So we're really activating muscles around the glutes, our obliques, all together here. Good. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. How we feeling, everybody? Last one here. Let's return to plank. Lower slowly to find Locust Pose. Squeeze the glutes, lift the arms. Option, thumbs can turn high toward the ceiling. Pin the scapula onto the tops of the ribs. Press through the palms to plank, finding downward facing dog, hips vertical. And then let's step the right foot forwards, rising into high crescent lunge. Bend the back knee. Let's start the second side, opening up to find warrior two. We've got knee tracking towards toes, right? But if you need to adjust the foot, maybe your internal rotation of the hip, a little tight today, then bring the arms overhead, joyful warrior. Then take your right arm, sweep it back, and then bring it forwards. So we've got our reverse warrior plus warrior variation. Lots happening here as we hold a strong warrior stance. Breathe out as you reach back. Breathe in as you reach forwards. That's it. One more. Bring our arm to thigh. Good. Let's find lizard. So we're going to windmill facing towards the mat. Left hand under the shoulder. Let the right foot adjust a little bit. Lower the left knee. So we're creating some space for our hips here. That's what it's all about. Keep the chest proud though, right? That way we keep a good long spine from the skull and top of the neck all the way to the sacrum and coccyx. That's our tailbone. Good. And if it feels comfortable, maybe you want to try just lifting the left foot. If you want to try the reach, you can. For me, this is yours truly, tighter side. So I tend to end up staying here, or even taking just like a half twist like this. There's so many variations that you can try that you can make this pose your own, which is always a really cool thing. Good. Let's find forearm plank as we step our foot back first, then forearm plank. And then we find our hip dips. Option on knees, same idea. Really leveraging our glutes here to keep the pelvis stable. One more to the left side, then to the right. Now, let's bring the left knee under the hip, left hand under the shoulder. And we're going to open up to the side, finding our modified side plank. And then we're going to tap the toe to the top of the mat, right side, then to the left side. So it's like you're drawing a little arc from side to side here. And keep the hand on the hip as a way to give yourself some feedback as well. Let's do one more. Last one. Good. Face your mat, coming into high plank. Lower the knees, lower slowly toward the floor. Locust pose. Option this time. We can lift our legs. Squeeze the glutes. Bring your hands to the floor. Press up, finding downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet in. Bend your hip, or feel the hips go back. Bend the knees and rise into chair pose. Right into third sequence. Good. This time, bring your hands onto your hips, finding airplane. We're lifting our left leg or right leg, squeezing our right glute. Alternative, you can have your legs stepped back and still practicing hip flexion, so like a modified airplane. Then from where you're at, let's come into our eagle pose. So what we're gonna do is step forwards. You can take your left leg, cross it over your right, take your left arm under, right arm over, finding eagle, and hold. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. So lots of transverse plane happening with eagle. So uncross your legs, uncross your arms, opening up into half moon. So we're gonna lift back into airplane and then open up to the side for half moon. If it helps, you can keep the toe down and then lift, keep hands on hips, or maybe add a block. I love to use a block for half moon as a way to just have some additional support here. Make sure to squeeze the glutes. You can open the top arm if you'd like. Then we're gonna lower the back foot, bring our hands to the floor, and step in the foot just a little bit for pyramid. Feeling the hips push back. So this is a nice way to just get a little brief restoration in the middle of the sequence before we step back and find our downward facing dog. So let's come into down dog. Lift your left leg. Doesn't have to be high, but squeeze the left glute. Draw the deep core in. And then you can bend the knee, taking a little hip opener to the side if that feels good, or just bend the knee and then release. Come into your downward facing dog. Come into plank. Good. Lower the knees, open up into modified side plank. Right knee under hip, facing the left side of your mat. Then bring your hand to the floor. Come back to plank, lift the knees, and step in one foot at a time, finding your forward fold. Feel the hips sit back, come to chair pose, second side. Then bring your hands onto your hips, finding airplane, lifting your left leg, squeeze your left glute. Coming into our eagle pose. So let's find standing, cross your right leg over your left, right or left arm under, left arm under right arm. So it's a tongue twister. But basically, getting in another round of traveling in that transverse plane. Good. So we're gonna unlace our arms and legs and then come into half moon. Remember, option with a block if you'd like to help you with opening up. You can bend your standing knee as well, fires the glutes as well, and then bring feet to floor, come into pyramid, sit the hips back. Hands fully onto the floor as we step back into downward facing dog. Lifting right foot this time, squeeze the right glute. Bring foot back to floor, coming into our plank. Then lower the left knee, open up into modified side plank. Then bring your hand to the floor. Come to plank. Shift to down dog. Lower the knees. Child's pose. Let's sit our hips back. Arms can lengthen, coming onto the finger pads. If that helps you here today, breathe in, breathe out. Just feel that nice release. We've done a lot here in our practice today, moving in multiple planes, multiple ways, but also seeing how by rotating, traveling in transverse plane, those movement possibilities for our body really multiply here. So let's continue to think about that as we find a seated twist. So come into seated here. We're going to take our right leg forwards and then cross the left leg over. Alternatively, you can keep the foot inside of your right leg if that's more comfortable for you. Feel the toes anchored, sit bones as well, and then take a small twist to release. Breathe in, breathe out. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of twisting. Smaller is better, especially to help keep our lower back safe. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Let's swap and find the other side. Gently release. Breathe in, breathe out. See how this side feels compared to the other. Always good to bring that awareness to our movement practice. And then let's lie down on our back here. Just finding a nice little warm down. Slowly lower. Let's find another spinal twist, but from a supine position. So take your feet wide to the edges of the mat and then draw the knees towards the right side. Squeeze your left glute and press through that inner edge of the left foot. So we did this in the beginning, but now this is a chance to see how does it compare to the first time you did this pose. Let's find the other side here. So gently draw the knees. We still want to keep them lifted and then press through the inner edge of the right foot this time, still engaging the right glute. Does it feel, do you have more ease to be able to do this pose or this stretch compared to the beginning when we were resetting? Bring the feet back hip width onto your mat. Take a few moments here to download your practice. Seeing how it felt here for you today. Inhale fully and exhale, let it go. This is our way to unwind, reset, restore, recover, process everything we've just done. There was a lot that we did in the span of our flow here. We thought about how we moved, where we moved. Breathe in, breathe out. If it feels more comfortable, maybe to lengthen one of your legs or both, you can try that here. Maybe see how this flow brought some energy for you today. Or maybe it was a release. The great thing about our practice is we may be doing similar poses here together, but you get to make it your own. Let's start to bring a little bit of energy back to our limbs. Wiggle your fingers or your toes. See what feels good. Maybe reach your arms wider to the sides or maybe overhead. Just seeing how you feel. You can bring these to the right side as a way to help you come to seated. Coming up to seated. And just continue to be mindful of how you feel now. Maybe a little taller, maybe a little bit more restored, maybe more mobile, especially through our thoracic spine. That can really help with how we move, in multiple ways, whether we're walking, whether we are, doing other forms of activity, even just doing kind of the everyday things like our, household chores that we do, or, maybe how you're seated when you're at your computer next time. Can think about, or standing in front of your computer. It all plays a huge role and has a huge impact into how well we move, how well we feel as well, not only on the mat, but off the mat. So I hope you enjoyed today traveling in the transverse plane, trying something new, and seeing movement from that new perspective today. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.